Charmander is universally considered the hard mode of this game, simply because he has the worst matchup with the first two gym leaders than Squirtle or Bulbasaur does, because they can just easily defeat the two. But Charmander gets one or two shot by both of their aces. So, what do you exactly do? Well, you either do one of two things. Over level obscenely to a point where you can take their attacks, which isn't really fun or intuitive, or you can acquire some help that isn't immediately apparent to you. And if you saw the Pokemon anime and just wanted to pick Charmander, which is exactly what I did, and you just insist on using them because Charmander is the best out of the three. I'm sorry, Squirtle and Bulbasaur fans. I know they're better in game, but Charmander is just better because it is. But what can we do? Well, there's a few options here. So the first thing we're going to do is catch a Mankey, and you can do that by going to Route 22 to the left of Viridian City. And the reason why you want to catch a Mankey is because it is a fighting type, and fighting types match well against Brock's rock type, in rock types, namely just resisting Brock and doing super effective damage. But it isn't just the super effective damage that Mankey specifically is really strong against. No, it's the fact that at a certain level he gets to move low kick, and that's at level 9. Excuse me. And low kick does damage in accordance with weight, and Onyx is extremely heavy, so he takes quite a lot of damage from low kick. The next team member you will want on your party is Weedle. Now, the reason why you want to catch a Weedle is because Misty Starmie is not just a water type, but it's part water and psychic. And as such, it takes super effective damage from bug type moves. And what do you know? Beedrill learns one of the only bug type attacking moves in the entire generation. Now, that's obviously an oversight on Game Freak's end, not giving anyone bug stab until Gen 4, but that's besides the point. The point is you need to get a Weedle. And what's amazing about Weedle is how effective it, first easy it is to catch it, just do whatever's going on screen, but it takes level 7 to get to Kakuna, and level 10 to get Beedrill, so from the outset, you're already getting a fully evolved Pokemon. Now, is it a really good fully evolved Pokemon? Not really. You're going to want to drop it almost immediately after, because bug type damage, it doesn't really do too much. And what you're going to do is, with your Mankey and your Weedle, is you want to just effectively burn through every single trainer you see. Yeah, every single one. And why do you want to do that? It's because, well, instead of running around in the grass all day, trying to get to level 10 and wasting your time, you could just farm the trainers that the game gives you. And it's going to take a little bit, especially if you're playing this on console like I am, where you don't have the speed up feature, which would be very useful. But getting besides the point, these trainers give a lot of experience, even if they're slightly under leveled. So make sure you get every single one that you can find. And especially in Viridian Forest, do it with Mankey, because Weedle is effectively helpless against a lot of the fellow Weedles who just have Poison Sting. Your Poison Sting is resisted against theirs, and they can't get poisoned. But you can dispatch some of the Caterpies that are here with Poison Sting, and some of the Metapods that are here that you may or may not encounter. And just keep doing this until you get a Beedrill, and you get your Mankey level 9. Now, once you get your Mankey level 9, just don't bother leveling up anymore, because that's the minimum level that it can do to basically take out Brock in its entirety. And that may sound low leveled, especially because Onyx is level 14, but trust me, low kick does way too much damage that you do not want to ignore. Especially Brock does not want to ignore. And you also see on screen that getting a Beedrill this early is extremely easy. And you will just see me bully the trainers that are here. And keep in mind, Beedrill is a solid Pokemon considering, because it gets 85 attack, especially so early. So that's as much attack as like Steelix. which, to be fair, Steelix should get a buff at some point, but I mean, it kind of did with its Mega. But yeah, you get a somewhat strong Pokemon in the beginning, so I guess relish having your Beedrill. So the next thing you will do is to actually defeat Brock with your Mankey. Now that you cleared Viridian's Forest from all the bug trainers and all the pathetic Caterpies and Weedles running around. I mean, it also wouldn't hurt to fight Camper Liam to get some extra experience, and Beedrill can do that quite nicely with just Fury Attack, Poison Sting. One thing to note is that when Beedrill gets a little higher levels, it will learn a move called Focus Energy, and it will increase the critical hit rate of your Fury Attack, and Fury Attack can hit 5 times, so effectively, almost guaranteed one of them is going to be a crit. But anyway, on the Brock fight, you really don't have to do too. You don't have to think too much. Just leer the Geodude one time and then just start low kicking. That's it. And you'll see, even though I'm 3 levels under the Geodude, it's a 3-shot. It's fine. And what surprised me most was the Onix. Now, granted, Onix is extremely heavy, so if someone can crunch the numbers, they can see that, like, I think low kick was 100-something base power for against a Pokemon that has the weight of Onix. So yeah, easy stuff. And what you also want to do is just go through the next route with your Beedrill, taking out every single Caterpillar, every single rat, every single pigeon, and sometimes swap in your Charmander because you don't want them too low leveled. And of course, Charmander is your starter, and you don't want them to be useless in the beginning of the game. And this way you can get Beedrill to level 20. And the reason why you want to get into level 20 is because it learns Twin Needle. And Twin Needle is the move that you'll use to defeat Misty Starmie. And you will only take like 2 of them to do it. Just a quick note, when you're making it through Mount Moon, do the same thing. Even find the Rocket Trainers, which have like 2 or 3 Pokemon, and sometimes they're decently high leveled. And your Beedrill is more than capable of taking them out one by one. And the only thing you might have to do is go and keep running back to the Pokemon Center, which is kind of annoying considering if you don't get repels, but you do buy enough. You can buy repels with the amount of trainers you've beaten at this point. So it won't be too tedious, but it will be kind of tedious. The one thing I do appreciate about Charmander not matching up well against the first two gym leaders is it really forces you to try to catch more Pokemon than you would otherwise. And of course, this is great for filling out your Pokedex, as well as just enjoying the game more. Because if you were to play Bulbasaur or Squirtle, then you would pretty much ignore the first few route Pokemon unless you really wanted to catch a Pidgey, for example, or catch a Rattata. But with Charmander, you're kind of forced to do so unless you want to over-level your Charmander. And of course, some people really don't have the time to just over-level, especially because each new Pokemon is just diminishing returns. So it's really nice to see like the game come together, so to speak. You know, forming your team for the first time, learning type matchups, and seeing what works and what doesn't. And what's awesome is that you get to keep your Mankey for future use. Now, will you use your Mankey after this? Probably not, because Mankey doesn't evolve until level 28, which kind of sucks. And Beedrill also does fall off in the mid-game too. But this makes you appreciate team building, even if in a really limited sense. One thing I forgot to mention is, during your tenure in Mount Moon, just actually catch and train a Geodude over there, because there's a spot where there's just Parises, and Parises give attack EVs, so if you want your Geodude to do a little more damage while you're there, instead of killing these Spearows like I did, then it'd be a lot more prudent to do so. The second to last thing you're going to do is defeat your rival. And you do that first because if your Beedrill isn't high enough level, then you can get a few levels just from this fight. And if you're wondering why you need to train the Geodude in the first place, is because, well, at level 11 it learns Rock Throw, a super effective move, and one of the stronger rock type moves in the game. So you're able to 2 or 3 hit Pidgeotto depending on your attack and attack natures and EVs. So his lead Pidgeotto can't just bother you with Sand Attack or Gust. And the rest of the fight is pretty simple. I just used a Caterpie as a sack, and if you're not competitively minded, then you don't have to worry about that. But you will see, however, is me fishing for a poison on the Squirtle, because Squirtle has a lot of defense, and it will take a lot of hits very easily. And I'm also trying to fish for critical hits, but I don't get them, sadly, in this, but of course the Squirtle does. But you see, that's what poison can do. And then Abra does absolutely nothing, thankfully. So you can just use whatever attacking move. You can use this opportunity to heal. You can use the opportunity to set up. I mean, there's not many setup sweepers in this game at this point, but if there is, then you can set up. Then Mankey, just to use a fighting type move, oh, it just died immediately on switching. But this is why Rock is a useful type, because it resists normal, and there's a lot of normal type moves going around. So that's an easy win against your rival. Alright, now that you have your Beedrill, you can finally take on Misty. And one thing that you have to know is that get some prior damage on Staryu, that way your Beedrill can survive. Even though it has a good special defense stat, it can only take 3 water pulses from Misty's Starmie, because Starmie is a fully evolved Pokemon with 100 base special attack. So you want to keep its health tippity top so you can survive the 2 water pulses. And of course, 2 Tornadoes will take out the Starmie. And from this point on, you really don't have to have any more setup, because Charmander and Charmeleon and Charizard are actually extremely powerful, and they can basically make the rest of the game pretty easy. But from this moment, it's a little lacking compared to the 2 starters. So if you want to just get a tiny leg up, do what's prescribed in this video. And if you want more content like this, please make sure to like and subscribe. Until next time, take care.